Hey everybody, welcome to Who Let the Dogs Out. Today we are doing a dog talk on how to introduce your dog to a cat. So that's what we're talking about today. So if you want to learn all about that subject, then stick with us because I think it's going to be an interesting one. So yeah, that's what we're talking about today. Enjoy the show.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
All right, everybody, welcome to Who Let the Dogs Out, the podcast designed to help you enjoy life with your best friend without all the frustrations. Join us each week as we help families across the country do just that. I'm your host, Corey, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Sally.
Yeah, and today we're doing a dog talk all about how to introduce a dog to a cat or a cat to or a dog to a cat. I don't know anything about cat training, but I do know lots of facts about cats now that I'm involved with cats, but not a cat trainer by any means. So this is about how to introduce your dog to a cat. So, yeah, for those of you who are new to the show and don't know us, my name's Corey. I'm the founder of Wonder Dog Training. We started the first day of 2018. Since then, we've helped thousands of families and thousands of dogs across multiple cities and multiple states. And you are?
I am Sally. I'm administration. Was a client before getting the job. And now I do things behind the scenes as well as the podcast.
That's it. All right. Well, since today's episode is on dogs and cats, I figured I would make our trivia question themed. So, which animal has a stronger sense of smell, dogs or cats? That's our trivia question. If you want the answer, stick with us to the end. And I've got some fun facts to back this up. So, that's our trivia question of the day. Yeah, if you learn anything today, if you know anybody who's going through a cat and dog struggle, you learned something, it's entertaining, whatever it is. We just ask that you share the show with a friend, family member, colleague, something like that. That'd mean the world to us. Share the show. And if you're listening and you have not subscribed or followed the show, click the button. That'd help us out quite a bit as well. So,
Click the like as well. That helps us in the algorithm.
yeah, that's true. Okay, so anyways, in terms of formats, today we're doing a dog talk. That's where we come on and talk about topics related to dogs, dog ownership, dog training, things like that. If you want to suggest a topic, you can drop it in the comments below. We also do Q&As where you guys ask the questions. We give you the answers. If you want to submit a question, you can drop it in the comments below or you can email
Sally@wonderdogtraining.com.
Yep. If you want to ask your questions, you can send them there. And then we also do interviews. We've done a couple this year. Hopefully got some more coming up here soon. So be tuned for those. Those are really, or stay tuned for those. Those are really good. So check those out as well. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. Let me see if we got any new comments to go over.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Let's see. I don't think we do. Last time I looked, we didn't. But
Okay. Do we have new subscribers?
we do. We do.
Ooh, we love that.
Getting close to 400.
Woo.
Hannah's doing such a good job on these thumbnails. They just look so cool. Like, look at this one. Nice, right?
Nice.
Yeah, because we introduced a new segment called Ask AI, and we talk about AI's advice on dog training. And so that was a AI one. So anyways, no new comments this week. All right. How's life going with life and the Solster?
Let me tell you. So since we did our last podcast, I have not crated Sully.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go?
Absolutely wonderful.
I knew he didn't need one.
No, it doesn't need it. But let me tell you something. Lenny used to always be at the door because he'd hear the garage door. You'd hear him bark. It was like, oh, Mum's home.
Right.
No, not with Sul.
He doesn't wait on you at the door?
He does not wait at me at the door.
Passed out on the couch. You
I
have to go wake
actually
him
go in and I look left and there he is on the couch and he looks up and he's like, oh, you're home. No waggy tail greeting. Where have you been? Nothing.
That's not very cool.
No. It's
When you
just,
get a dog, that's part of the reason you get one is they're excited to greet you when you get home.
it's like, come to me.
Yeah, speaking of cats, Paige has to call the cat down the stairs. Hey, lady, and call the cat down the stairs and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I want an animal that's excited to see me when I get home.
Yeah,
All right.
I've
missed you. Miss me back.
I thought he'd be there going, no. It's just like,
That's what I would have expected.
it's like, I'm just chill.
Yeah. I figured though that I don't know if he would ever needed a crate, honestly. Maybe during the potty training phase, but yeah, last week's episode we talked about crate training and stuff like that, like when you should and shouldn't use a crate. The reason we're actually doing this podcast today on dogs and cats is Gideon. Gideon's the guy who edits the show for us. He was a former trainer of mine. He moved away. Anyways, he still edits the podcast though. And he commented about dogs and cats, and I was like, I knew I had to think about my answer, and I just didn't feel like it all the days that I could have done it. Anyway, so I kind of forgot about it, and he's texted me about it quite a bit. So here we are. We're doing it today. Because
been
I
on
woke
the
up to a
back
text
burner.
from him about answering it. So anyways, we're doing a cat episode.
See, pressure works, Gideon.
It does. There was a reason I was saying that, though. I don't know. I forgot. But
Well, you're
Cats,
going to be
dogs.
doing this very soon.
yeah, I'll be starting with a puppy, though. I'll be starting with a puppy. Mm-hmm. So there's something about dogs and cats I was going to say. Anyways, and I'm sure it'll come back to me.
Well, let me ask a question with that, what you've just said. So when she shouts lady, does lady come down?
Yeah. Yeah. Or you you shake the tuna can or like tap the tuna can with the spoon. She comes running.
Okay.
I don't know. I just
Just
don't
no
really,
wiggly butt, though, is there?
Yeah.
She's coming because,
Yeah. You're bribing her.
yeah, there's food to be had, not, oh, you're home.
Yeah. When she's out of town, though, the cat really likes me.
Okay.
And like last weekend, she was out of town, and like every time I'd go over there to feed the cat or give her water or whatever you do for cats, and give her tuna, she would come down. She would meet me at the door. She'd be rubbing up against me, letting me pet her and stuff like that. Paige is home. The cat completely ignores it, which is fine. I don't need the cat's love, just Paige's. But, yeah. Anyways, but I'm like, man, I want an animal that loves me all the time. I don't have to bribe it. I don't have to get the tuna can out. The dog's just excited. He's like, oh my God, you're alive. I'm alive. Let's have some fun today. You know, that's the nice thing about dogs. So anyways, we're not debating which is better though, dogs or cats, but we all know. All right. Well, I guess we'll just jump in and talk about how to introduce cats to dogs. I feel like we should lay some like groundwork though for this episode because I've got my little note card right here of like notes that I took earlier. And then I did ask AI too, and we'll go over some of their responses. And I wrote down all my answer before I looked it up. I'm not saying this is 100% right way to do it. I've introduced quite a few dogs that really were interested in the cats that they did not like to quite a few dogs over the years. Seems to work for me. I'm sure there are other trainers who do it other ways and do it better, whatever. But this is how I've done it, and it's worked pretty well for me. But I feel like we should start with like the levels of like how interested the dog is in the cat, because there's like, I've kind of wrote it down in like kind of 3 categories here. I would say we've got dogs that are interested in the cat. So they want to say, hey, they might want to play. They might want to sniff the cat. Maybe the cat doesn't like that as much, but they're just overall just interested in the cat. Then you've got the dogs who have like a prey drive and want to chase the cat, but there's no harm that the dog really wants to do to the cat. They just like chasing the cat. They might want to play with it, generally just want to chase it. And then the third category is like wants to eat and kill the cat. Super high prey drive, wants to eat and kill a cat. This episode, I would say, is for the first 2 categories of dog. If you have a dog that wants to like kill the cat, I'd say call a better trainer than me, because that's not really something I'd say I'd like be super comfortable like trying to fix for somebody. Like if somebody hired me and they were like, hey, my dog wants to eat the cat, I want you to fix that, I'd be like, I'm not the guy. So I'm just putting that out there. I think this is for dogs that are interested in the cat and maybe want to chase the cat, maybe plays a little too rough with the cat or something like that. Yeah, that would be this. I will say, before we start this, the other day I met with a family and they had a puppy and a cat that were the same age. They were both like 6 months old, and watching these 2 romp around was hilarious. Like the dog chased the cat and tackle the cat, and then the dog would be like laying down, and then the cat would like pounce on the dog and like wrap its claws around its neck. It was really fun to watch. It was very entertaining.
I like that.
It was really fun. And it was, just like a classic tabby cat and a little like mixed breed dog. It was very cute. Very, very
That
cute.
is
Very
cute.
fun. So, anyways, so this would be though for the first 2, like dogs that are interested and dogs that want to kind of chase the cat and stuff like that. So, a lot, I imagine that if you want to introduce your dog to your cat, you've probably looked up some stuff. I would assume that your cat is probably scared of the dog to some degree, and that your dog is either interested or wants to chase the cat or has done those things in the past. And so this would be generally kind of help that. So I think my first piece of advice would be just start slow. And by that, I mean, like I would say first and foremost, I think the cat needs to have like a safe zone. So I feel like you've got a 2-story house, maybe putting a gate up at the bottom of the stairs that the cat can jump and like get over so the cat can get upstairs or something like that. And yeah, so just generally speaking, have like a safe zone for the cat where the cat can like escape and kind of be peaceful. Yeah. So I'd say that would probably be first and foremost, have like a safe zone.
That
for the
seems
cat.
sensible.
If it's downstairs, maybe have it, and you've got a smaller dog, maybe have a cat tower that the cat can get on, something like that. Just you want to have a spot for the cat to go and be safe and know, hey, I'm cool here. You know, the dog can't get me here, basically, because we definitely don't want like the cat to be scared in its own home, ideally. So I would say have a safe zone for the cats.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of starting slow, like let's just say, one thing I'd probably do is like swap sniffs, basically. So I would like give the cat something to sniff of the dogs and vice versa. So that way they can start by sniffing each other. I'd maybe let them see each other through something. So like through a gate or through a fence or a crate or something like that. Another funny like cat thing, we just signed up a little like 12-week-old like Silky Terrier a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And they had a Silky Terrier that had passed away, and the cat, outlived the Silky Terrier. And so they brought this new one home. And so they've got this real tiny little crate. And I saw it while I was there. The cat's like 14 years old, very elderly cat, but still moving around pretty good.
Yeah.
For a cat. Anyways, the cat would literally just sit in front of the crate and just stare at the dog, and every now and then just hiss at the dog. And I'm like, you're probably not winning any friends. And then the dog wants to meet the cat real bad, and the cat does not want to meet the dog. So I imagine we'll be doing some training there. But let them see each other. So maybe put the dog in a crate, let the cat out. Cat can see the dog. I don't know about putting the cat in the crate and letting the dog see it. But anyways, let them kind of see each other through something. I'll let you guys kind of figure that out. But that would generally be my kind of start slow advice. Would be like start with letting them sniff each other's stuff. Give the cat a safe zone, let them kind of see each other and stuff like that. Overall, I would say another kind of like foundational principle here too is, us being balanced trainers, reward good behavior, correct bad behavior. So reward when like the dog, we'll get into it. But yeah, we want to reward when the dog's like being good and correct them when they're being bad, like too excited, overstimulated, stuff like that. How I've always done this is I've started with a really strong play. Before I do introductions, I start with a really strong place command and a really strong leave it command. So that way I could send the dog to a place, have the cat out around, socialize the dog to the cat and vice versa, and the dog's in their place. And then also teach a really strong leave it command for if the dog does try to chase the cat or get too, overstimulated, something like that. I can tell the dog leave it and get the dog to not mess with the cat. So I would say those are the two kind of foundational things I start with overall. I guess I won't get too far into like how to actually do both of those. Those would be like training topics and stuff like that. But I would say either DIY that or hire a trainer to help you out with that.
Yeah.
And if you're in Memphis or Austin, call Wonder Dog. Okay, shameless plug over. But yeah, start with a good place and stay and leave it. And then I would say my first step would be have the dog stay around the cat. So I'd pull a bed out, pull a place cot out, put the dog on the couch, wherever their place is, and I'd have the dog stay, and I'd get the cat out, and I'd have the dog on a leash. I'd have the dog staying where they're told, and I'd let the cat come out, and I'd let the cat walk around, and I'd just make the dog stay and just get the dog used to just being calm around the cat. Like, hey, the cat can be around. I don't have to chase the cat. Don't have to be barking, whining, things like that. I can just be still and be around the cat, and everything's fine. So that's probably how I'd start, and just start like slowly kind of like desensitizing the dog to the cat, basically. That'd be kind of like first step.
Yeah.
I definitely think a leash is very helpful in this case, just so that way you have control of the dogs. That way if they break their place, you don't have to worry about, the dog chasing the cat or something and then kind of resetting where we're starting at or whatnot. Because, I think if the cat has bad experiences with the dog, it'll kind of reinforce that. But if it does happen, we do want to, once again, give the cat a safe space to go to. yeah, so anyways, that'd be where I'd start. You could start with the tether on the wall or like tether dog to the place. So like, put the leash under like the base of a table or a couch or put a hook on the wall or something like that to like tether the dog to the wall. So that way they have to stay where they're told. Instead of just holding them on a leash, you could do something like that too. But that's probably where I'd start. Mm-hmm. Is all this making sense so far?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, I would definitely use a trainer for this, this part. But if you're a DIYer, I guess you could DIY it too. But I would start then, during that process, I would start either using like a leash and a collar or a remote collar or something like that to start correcting like the bad behaviors that are associated with it. So like whining, barking, trying to break the place, being too intently focused, things like that. And I'd start working on teaching the dog to like break their focus away from it. And anytime they did, I would also pay the dog and reward the dog with food, praise, things, toys, things like that. Yeah, and that's kind of where I would start. That's kind of where I would start with that is like, just correcting, like I said, the bad behaviors and rewarding the good behaviors, that's kind of it. And then I would start letting them, I guess the next step would be interact, and like kind of both be out and be supervised. After you've kind of desensitized the dog to the cat or whatnot, it could be on a leash where you're like walking the dog near the cat or whatever it is, or off leash if you're using a remote collar or something like that. And I'd start like kind of letting them interact. I'd, supervise it, of course, because we want to make sure that we're, all the animals are well taken care of. But then I'd start letting them interact under supervision and stuff like that. And once again, rewarding good behavior, correcting bad behavior. But I've done this pretty successfully with like a handful of like dogs and cats over the years or whatnot. It seems to work for me. I'd say I should have probably said this in like the kind of like foundational part of the episode, like in the beginning, but I'd really focus too on doing like short, sessions for this, training periods or whatnot, cause like, particularly whenever you're introducing the two, I'd start with short sessions just because like we want to end on a high note whenever we're doing something, new. We want to end on a high note. So I'd say start with like short, like fun sessions with the dog where they're getting the hang of things, they're enjoying it, all that kind of stuff. So that'd be kind of where I'd start basically. That's pretty much all I got on how to train a dog to be good with a cat.
Would you ever? Oh, let me ask this: what's your opinion on taking, like, having the dog? The dog's on a leash. Somebody's holding the dog. What's your opinion on somebody else having the cat and bringing the cat over to the dog?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I don't know if I'd bring it to the dog or if I don't know if I'd necessarily bring it to the dog or if I'd bring it just like around the dog. And by that, I mean like, let's say the place bed's 10 feet away against the wall or something and the person's sitting on the couch with the cat or something like that. That's kind of what I mean by that. Like bring it around. I don't know if I'd put the cat right in the dog's face or whatnot, because I remember this was kind of funny, but we had a client one time who I'd say is probably in like the second category. They had like a big dog. Their dog liked to chase the cat. I don't think it was like it wanted to like eat the cat, but it definitely like chasing the cat, and thought the cat was a fun toy. Yeah. And these people brought the cat down, swaddled in a blanket, and put the cat and sat down on the couch with the cat. And I was working on, so they're sitting on the couch and I'm healing with the dog back and forth. And I'm, practice what I preach. I'm rewarding his good behavior, correcting his bad behavior. And so every time he'd kind of like look over that way or kind of pull me over that way, I'd give him a correction and start healing. And so we're just in the house. There's not like a ton of room. Anyways, the cat was like under duress, and so the cat clawed their way out. I don't know if it was in the blanket. Somebody got scratched. And so I don't know if it was in the blanket and worked its way out or whatever, but anyways, I was pretty nervous it peed. In hindsight, I didn't know. Well, I know a lot more about cats now. I didn't know that the cat was like that scared. I just just bring the cat down. Anyways, the person got scratched. The cat peed because it was a little scared. So I said, I know a little bit more these days. So I probably in hindsight would have started a little bit slower and had him at the end of the room and been training the dog on this end of the room or something like that. But that's one example of like, we brought the cat down, put it, near the dog. But anyways, so like I said, I would maybe start further away if I was doing that with the cat and I was holding the cat, I'd start further away and slowly work my way closer with both animals over time. I probably wouldn't do this on like the first try or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'd been working with this dog quite a while, and he's pretty good on like ignoring distractions and things like that. So that's why I thought it'd be okay. And the dog was pretty good. It was more the cat that was just that scared of the dog. So, anyways, lesson learned. But
Yeah. And I think as well, we worry about the dog hurting the cat, but the cat can also cause harm to the dog, can't they?
yeah, I mean, that is true as
You know,
well.
if they're like striking out and scratching them and things.
Yeah, I think, yes, true. I do think there's more of a risk on the cat getting hurt, though, than there is the dog getting hurt, because I think just out in the wild, like out in the neighborhoods of Memphis, where, there's plenty of stray animals on both sides, I'm sure more dogs kill cats than cats kill
Oh,
dogs.
yeah.
Yeah. And, cats are substantially smaller than dogs, too. So I think there's a lot higher risk of the dog hurting the cat than the cat. But yes, you're right. The cat can hurt the dog,
Can
too.
hurt the dog. Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess kind of just tying a bow on that question, though, I would probably start, if I was holding the cat, I'd start further away, and then I'd slowly work both animals closer over time or whatnot.
Sounds good.
Yeah. What other questions do you have?
I don't
What questions would people have if they're watching this that I'm not thinking about? I guess if you didn't know what kind of category your dog was in, you could start with a muzzle too. I didn't think about adding that in, but you could start with a muzzle and like muzzle on the cat, or sorry, the dog. Muzzle the cat too. Put some paw muzzles on it.
I think most of the time when people have reached out to us, it's the dog is chasing the cat.
Right. Yeah, and
And just thinks it's a fun game. There's no aggression there.
Right.
It's just like Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I mean?
yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And I think, anyways, you could try a muzzle too, though, if you're like unsure of how it would go. I mean, you could try a muzzle too, and that kind of takes I'd say some of the risk out of the equation, so to speak, for the cat. But like I said, this is more for dogs that are interested in chasing, not actually want to eat the cat. Like if your dog's like, and how you could tell is like, okay, well, I don't know what category my dog is. And if your dog is like killed squirrels or killed chickens or killed other cat, like it's probably going to try to eat your cat, so that'd be something to consider. Like I said, this is more for the less intense of the two. So, and I'm sure there's a way to rehab dogs that want to eat the cat. Like I said, I'm not the guy. So, go ahead.
I was just thinking about if even through doing all of the steps, these two can't live amicably together.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean to really say that you have to, rehome either of them. I suppose there's ways, isn't there, that you can have a cat living in the house with a dog without them having to.
Yeah, I mean, you could separate levels.
interaction.
Cat gets upstairs, dog gets downstairs.
Yeah.
You could put a baby gate up, or that the dog can't get over or something like that.
Yeah.
I think most baby gates are probably not cat proof. The cat could jump them if they
Yeah,
so choose.
slip through the bars.
I do think there's an element of time that plays into this too, though, where it's like overall with time, I think both animals being in the same house will generally speaking get used to each other. And I think that generally speaking, a lot of this stuff will work itself out. But like most of the examples that I've talked about here are particularly the ones that I've experienced with are people rescuing a dog that's a year old, 2 years old, whatever it is, 6 months old, and they need help with this, and so normally it's not, them getting a puppy and then the puppy growing up. And sometimes it is, but generally speaking, it's people getting rescue dogs, or adopting a dog that's in between 6 months and 2 years. And they need a little bit of help with this kind of thing because they've had the cat for 3 years and now, the cat was there first kind of thing or whatnot. Yeah, I would say my advice would probably be pretty similar with puppies. Like if you got a puppy and you were raising a puppy from scratch, it'd probably be pretty similar advice. I might tailor it just a little bit, but I definitely would not be using like corrections with a puppy, but I would probably start with pretty similar methods for an actual like puppy too. Yeah.
I think the big takeaway for me there is giving the cat the safe space to be.
Yeah.
Like
No, I
the
think that's a
tower or
must.
so even like with a new puppy coming into the house. You can separate them safely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, this was, so like I said, I took all my notes before I did our Ask AI segment because I wanted to have like my thoughts on paper before I read AIs or whatnot. And so, yeah, so those were all my notes. I did Ask AI, and so I'm going to read it and we'll go over their response and the AI's response and see. So I'm using Google Gemini here. I said how to introduce dogs to cat. So introducing a dog and a cat isn't usually a, quote, let them sniff it out after an project. It's more strategic operation that requires patience, control, and lots of high-value treats. Notice it doesn't take correction. Normally, AI is going to lean on the side of being more positive only or balanced. So we use positive and negative to teach the dog what to do and not do. The goal is to prevent the dog from viewing the cat as a squeaky toy and the cat from viewing the dog as a mortal threat. Here's a step-by-step guide to a successful, stress-free introduction. So pre-meeting, it basically says the sanctuary and scent swap. So create a safe zone for the cat. Check. We talked about that.
We did that.
Scent swapping, rub a clean towel on your dog and leave it near the cat's food bowl. Do the same thing with a towel from your cat and place it near the dog. This helps them associate each other's scents with good things, food. I didn't add that part in, but that's not a bad
good
idea.
one.
Yeah, I like that. Putting it next to their food so they associate it with good. Because I say that something similar but different when I'm teaching people to crate train their dogs. I always say feed your dog in their crate. So they're associating good with stuff with getting in the crate. Visual barriers, keep them separated by closed doors. Let them sniff it out at the bottom of the door. Do not let them see each other just yet. I guess I'd said more like visual barriers, like a baby gate or, through like a fence or a crate or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see that. Closed doors being helpful.
Yeah.
Controlled sightseeing through a barrier, I guess this is where I started with, but use a sturdy baby gate or keep your dog securely on a short leash while cracking the door. The look and reward method, it says, let them see each other from a distance. The moment your dog looks at the cat without lunging, barking, or whining, say yes, give them a high-value treat like a chicken or cheese. The only thing I'd say in there would be if your dog does lunge, bark, or whine, I'd start correcting the dog saying leave it. And then once they broke that, I'd pay them, right? So positive and negative.
Yeah.
Give the cat treats too so they associate your dog with a jackpot. Keep it short. Do this for 2 to 3 minutes. Like I said, do short sessions.
Yeah.
So pretty much on the same page. It says red flag warning. If your dog stiffens, stares intently, hyperfocusing, whines, or barks uncontrollably, you're moving too fast. Back up a step and increase the distance. Yeah, agree. I guess I didn't add that, but yeah, if things do go wrong, like I said, my plan, I would take a step back and I'd start at the previous step or 2 steps previous and work through that boundary, like through there first. So like, let's say, you're doing like, kind of like you were talking about like structured meeting or whatnot, and that dog like's not doing good at that, I'd go back to just like placing and staying and like, and leave it and get that solid with other distractions before I bring the cat into play. So the leash meet and greet, double up on safety, keep your dog on a short leash, do not hold the cat. Holding a terrified cat's a fast track to getting badly scratched. I don't know much about cats. I do know that if you do hold a terrified cat, they will scratch you. But I don't know, maybe swaddle the cat in a blanket or something like that. Maybe just put the cat on the floor or something and keep it boring. Sit down with your leash dog and let the cat explore the room at their own pace. And on a high note, golden rules of coexistence. Never leave it unsupervised until several months have passed. I agree with that. Like I said, when we're doing this, we're keeping everything supervised. We want to make sure that everything's good. Protect the resources. I didn't think about this, but there's a good one. Keep the cat's food and litter box completely out of the dog's reach. Dogs love to eat cat food and unfortunately cat poop. I didn't think about that, but
they do.
There'd be nothing worse than your poor cat taking a poop and then the dog popping their head.
Hey, ooh,
you're trapped now, buddy. That would suck. So I agree with that too. So this is providing some helpful context that I missed out on. Provide vertical escape routes. Cats feel safer when they're up high. Make sure your home has plenty of cat trees, shelves, or countertops where the cat can observe the dog from a safe distance. And like I said too, towards the end of mine, I think there's an element of time that kind of makes all this better. I think overall, the more that your cat does that and your dog does that, like the cat is on the counter, just watching the dog exist in the house or whatnot, they'll both get used to each other overall, and things have a kind of a way of working themselves out in a lot of cases. So anyways, that's some of the advice from Google Gemini. I'd asked ChatGPT too. Let's just see. I'm going to briefly see if there's anything else that they said or ChatGPT said. Yeah, we've already said all this.
Yeah, this is definitely a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
Especially if you want it to be successful for them to live together for years. So,
Yeah. Just a good list of like red flags to kind of watch out for if your dog has a high prey drive, kills squirrels or rabbits, obsessively chases movement, cannot disengage, shakes with excitement. Those would all be ones where I'd be like, we need to back up a couple steps,
Yeah.
work on teaching the
Yeah.
dog to just be calm before we do that. Anyways, overall, I mean, I feel like we kind of like, you
Yeah.
know, covered most of it in mind. Like I said, there were a few helpful tips that I didn't necessarily think of or whatnot, but yeah, there were a few helpful tips I didn't necessarily think of in there, but for the most part, nailed most of it. So
Yeah,
gave AI's answer
absolutely.
and added some too. Like I said, I'd start with more of an obedience foundation. And then also, of course, like I said, AI is going to lean more towards the side of positive only because a lot of content and blogs on the internet and stuff. Like I said, our school thought's a little bit more balanced where we use, you know, positive and negative, you know, treat, praise, love, toys, things like that. Corrections of one sort side on the corrections of some sort on the other side of the equation. The goal is to balance those two things out to hopefully end up with the dog in the middle, where we're not shaking snacks, we're not getting onto the dog, things like
Yeah.
that. Right. That's kind of the big idea overall. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'd say overall. Though I think overall, yeah, I think if you do all that stuff, hopefully you'd be in a pretty good spot. So I hope this answers that question and is, you know, a good kind of standalone episode for people who want to introduce their dog to a cat. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And they can live well together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of success stories out there
There
about
are
cats and dogs
indeed.
living nicely together.
Yeah. One of my favorite movies as a kid was Cats and Dogs. Might have been Dogs and Cats. I think it's where like, I feel like it's where the cats are trying to take over the world or something like that. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Give me the plot for the movie Cats and Dogs. Let's see. Yeah, I do remember this. The plot of Cats and Dogs is basically a secret agent war between cats and dogs happening behind humans' back. Dogs are secretly protecting humanity while the cats are trying to take over the world. The main villain is a white Persian cat named Mr. Tinkles who wants to make all things human allergic to dogs so cats can become the dominant household pet. A rookie beagle puppy named Lou gets recruitment into the canine spy organization to help stop the cat's plan. Alongside experienced agent dogs, Lou has to protect a scientist who's developing a cure for dog allergies before the cats sabotage it. The whole movie basically plays like a goofy spy action film, basically James Bond, but with pets. It's pretty funny. I
That's
remember that
fun.
movie as a kid.
I was just trying to think, you know, Mike Myers in his movies,
No.
where he has Mini-Me
No.
and he's stroking a cat. Was that a white Persian? Do they use white Persians as villain's little pet in many movies?
Oh, is that Austin Powers?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know how there's always a villain and they're talking and they've got a cat on their knee and they're just stroking.
Yeah.
When you said the white Persian, I was like, is that what they always use?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is the
don't
white.
know. I don't know where it
This
came
is the
from.
white Persian from that movie.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the same cat. Who knows? I mean,
I don't
feel like
know,
those
but
movies
it
came
just
out probably
seems
around
like
the same time.
these Persians must be like the choice of a villain.
Yeah, that movie is pretty funny. Though. I remember getting that on DVD and watching that a bunch as a kid. Man, there were so many good dog movies. We need to do that. Just do like a list. I know we've talked about dog
did
books,
it in
but-
early days
Yeah, we
about
talked about-
cat dog movies.
Well, I got into those dog books for a while. I got into like, you know, all the old, like, I think Jack Frost books or something like that. Not Jack Frost. Who wrote A Call to the Wild? Who wrote a...
I don't know. I remember us going through, it was early days of us doing the podcast because we were reviewing things like Marley and Me.
Jack London. I said Jack Frost. I think Jack Frost is a poet. Yeah, I think Jack Frost is a poet. Anyways, Jack London.
Jack Frost is also somebody who comes around in the winter and makes all the ice on the field.
I knew it was Jack something. Anyways,
Jack.
but yeah, man, there were so many good dog movies when I was a kid that came out.
Some great movies.
Anyways, all right. Well, folks, our trivia question of the day is how. No, not that one. Okay, which animal has a stronger sense of smell, dogs or cats? What do you think?
Well, I want to say dogs, but I have a feeling. I know it's like 50-50 here, but I want to say dogs because of like the dog, doing the work with scent. But I'm going to go on a limb and say it's a cat.
Dogs.
So I should have stuck with it, shouldn't I?
It's like those trivia shows where it's like,
Yeah.
you know the answer, but
I was like, oh, I want it to be dogs, but could be.
it says answer dogs, and it's not even close. Details for the podcast. Dogs have up to 300 million scent receptors. Cats have around 45 to 80 million, depending on the breed. Humans only have about 5 to 6 million. So while cats have a pretty solid sense of smell, dogs are on another level entirely. A follow-up fact, dogs' sense of smell is so strong they can detect certain diseases, track people days later, and even smell tiny amounts of stress hormones. Cats rely more heavily on stealth vision and hearing for hunting, while dogs are basically scent processing machines. So anyways, fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Well, folks, that's it. I hope this has been helpful. If you got a cat and a dog and you need to introduce them, hopefully you got some helpful advice from this. I just asked if you don't mind, if you made it this far, if you have not subscribed, click subscribe, follow whatever platform you're on. Also, if you don't mind sharing this with a friend, family member, colleague, church friend, something like that, just somebody that needs help with their dog or dog training, share this episode or share the show with them. That'd mean the world to me and Sally to help us grow the show. That's pretty much it. You got anything else?
No.
Okay, cool. Well, folks, remember, you can get your dog trained and you can even get your cat trained, and that can buy you some peace. But the only way to true peace is to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, and that's Christ Jesus. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.